The types of homes high value men buy. Plenty of ladies are interested in dating six-figure men, high value men, and high value rich men. Yet, as so many experts have been pointing out, they typically have no idea what it's actually like to date, be in relationships with, and marry these type of men. One of the things I always emphasize with ladies is that they have to let go of their experiences of dating average men and open themselves up to new possibilities with dating high value men. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the actual homes that high value men and high value rich men tend to buy. This is a really fun video. It is also very informative as it'll give you some insight into the thought processes that we have when buying or having a home built. Let's talk. Hi, I'm Dr. Dylan Wilson, the couples coach. Since college, I've been helping couples with dating, falling in love, and relationships. In this video, I'm sharing with ladies, if you're serious about your future, tips on how to meet, date, and marry the high-value rich man of your dreams. One of the most important things we'll touch on in this video is the reason why they choose the house that they choose. So some of the reasons include, like, number one is the freedom to live life on their own terms. And this is more about the way they wish to live their life, right? A lot of what motivates high value rich men in particular is that kind of freedom. So that the rules kind of like don't really apply to them, kind of sort of thing. It's self-determination, right? This is again a factor in buying a home. Number two is they may have come from modest means or poor background, and they wish to live a lavish lifestyle for themselves, you and your children. That's not 100% though, because there's also many people who come from humble or modest backgrounds that don't want that. It's just a portion or a small portion that we refer to as the glittering rich that do, which I talk about in depth in my master course. More on that later. The third thing is social status. Some want to be in the in crowd, and they want to live where other financially affluent or wealthy people live. It's very validating to them as it makes them feel like they've actually made it, right? And this is a powerful motivator for some people. You may have even met people who are like this. Now, why do I share this with you? Because you must understand high value men and high value rich men's mentality for home buying. It's far more common for women to be the main determiners of the house, right? Like which house they and their hubby or boyfriend buy, where it's located, where they're going to live, that sort of thing. So a lot of average guys usually just pretty much decide to get whatever she wants, right? And again, you probably know people like this. For the most part, a lot of average guys aren't really that concerned about the house. It's more about what the wife wants, what the girlfriend wants. Yet when you're dealing with high value men, they have an agenda as well. And remember, their agenda includes you. You're part of their agenda, and they have it planned out. So let's take a look at some of the homes that they get and the reasons for why they oftentimes get them. So the first type of home is a ranch. Let's go ahead and take a look at this one now. So as you can see here, this is a common type ranch. And again, this is a very popular choice amongst high value men and high value rich men. Beautiful, right? Yet you notice it's kind of isolated. It's away from the city. There's a lot of land. Now, again, a ranch is a very common choice for a lot of high value men. Where they're located in the country and where they live or wish to live in the country also plays a big factor in this, right? And we're going to look at another one. Now, the reason for it that they would buy a ranch are typically they value their privacy. Here's another one, gorgeous one. They also want freedom to build and do whatever they wish to do on their own land. They don't want to be in the city and have city ordinances and have to apply for permits and stuff. They want to do whatever the heck they want to do on their own land, right? Now, the other thing is they want plenty of space for the family to do stuff on the land. This includes the children playing. You see here, when you raise your children on ranches, they live a totally different lifestyle. They grow much closer to the land. And everyone I know who grew up on a ranch or something always loved it. And they say they were a much better person for having done it. A ranch represents a liberated lifestyle. Oftentimes you have horses or ATVs that get around the ranch, like you see here. And as I mentioned in another video, one of my buddies had a ranch that he built an airport on where he kept his and my planes. We would fly out of his airport on his ranch. Now, another colleague of mine built 1,000-yard rifle range on his ranch, his outdoor rifle range. Plus, he had a separate building from the house, which was an indoor pistol range. It actually had, I don't have pictures of it because I think it was amazing. He had a gun vault, which was like an apartment, all types of expensive rifles and pistols and stuff. I mean, a vault, well, like a bank vault, and a bunch of other stuff. And then another portion of it was a pistol range. I mean, it was humongous. It was like a warehouse, and a portion of it was a pistol range, like you see here. Yeah, this is common. He then sectioned off part of his land as well, and he let local farmers come in and grow crops on it. And when they would sell the crops, they would split the profits with him. So you see, even with the home, the home is designed not only to facilitate an amazing lifestyle, yet also to generate money, right? To generate some kind of revenue. All right. The second type of home is called a monolithic dome. Well, you never heard of a monolithic dome? Look at this thing. These have been around for a long time. They're essentially a humongous igloo, yet instead of being made out of snow, they're made out of concrete. And again, we'll take a look at a couple other different designs because they're all custom. You have them made any way you want. Their lifespan, unlike other homes that are measured in terms of decades, after a couple of decades, a lot of these homes just fall apart. Monolithic domes' lifespans are measured in terms of centuries. All right, it's important to remember that point. All right. Now, there are a ton of benefits to living in these structures. They naturally, by the design, keep cool in hot weather and warm in cold weather. Plus, they're fireproof. Again, they're designed to kind of harness the earth and nature. All right, that's why they'll naturally stay cool. So your bills are much lower, way lower for heating and cooling. And again, they're fireproof, so you don't have to be concerned about your house burning down. Even if a fire breaks out, kitchen fire, it's not going to affect a monolithic dome. There are stories where forest fires raged and burnt all of the other houses in the area down to the ground. Yet the family with the monolithic dome, their home looked virtually untouched. And these are some of how it looks on the inside. Remember, they're custom. Now, these things are beautiful and they cost about the same as any other custom home. Now, the reasons why high value men and high value rich men may get one of these is very similar to the same reasons as a ranch, right? Same reasons, plus and on the fact that there's always a pyramid quality, and that the fact that the structure will last for generations. So obviously, it's a very unique design, and so it's a powerful conversation tool because it's not traditional. So if you're going to dinner parties, things like that, and you tell people you have a monolithic dome, oh, they're going to want to see pictures. What is that? It's instantly, they're curious about it, and they're going to want to come over. You invite people over for parties in your monolithic dome, they're showing up, right? Where a nice looking house, especially if you're amongst people who also are financially rich or financially affluent, that's not really impressive. Yet something like this is very unique. Plus, again, with some high value rich men, they like the idea of longevity, like the pharaohs when they built pyramids that are still around to this very day, thousands of years, right? It's still part of that too. So this is part of the appeal. They want something that's going to last, and that they can put their name on it, and it'll still be here. Very cool idea. And if you watch some videos on it, you're going to probably start falling in love with it. Now I'm going to pivot for a moment. I know a lot of guys that are six-figure men and high-value rich men. Many of my friends and buddies, some my colleagues, and they all simply want a good woman and wife. If you're serious and have good intentions, then I'd like to help you find your high-value man. That's why I put together the most complete online master course called How to Find, Date, and Marry a Six-Figure Man. He's going to date and marry some woman. Why not you? Go to richguydatingtips.com to learn more. I guarantee you 3 things will happen when you take my course. 1, if you follow my advice, you will meet high income earning men, 6 to 7 figures or more. 2, you will start dating 6-figure men. And 3, 1 or more of them will consider you for marriage. This course is so solid that as long as you do what I share with you, then all of that will happen for you. So if dating and ideally marrying a high value man or rich man is what you desire, then definitely check it out. All right, let's get back to it. All right, the third type of home are houseboats. Houseboats are a very unique choice as it literally has a lot to do with a guy's personality. Oftentimes, high value men into these type of homes typically are into boating to begin with. They may already have one or more boats, a speedboat or even a yacht, and now they wish to make the move to live on the water all the time. Gorgeous homes, absolutely gorgeous. Their reasons for getting them include, once again, freedom. This is a recurring theme with a lot of high value men and high value rich men. They don't wish to be constrained have by the same rules and barriers that they perceive average guys are constrained by. Also, self-expression. They don't wish to be traditional. They don't wish to be like everyone else. Plus, even you check out some of the interiors, these things are just gorgeous. Plus, when you get tired of where you're located, you can either pilot your houseboat to another part of the country or even in another part of the world. Again, one of the key traits for a lot of it is going to be freedom and self-expression. There's other stuff in addition. You understand if when it is that, that's something you have to be aware of because there's going to be something that he wishes to express in himself. I mean, after getting these type of homes or something, he's still going to be open to you just decorating it any way you want, like with the furniture and that kind of thing. He has more input in the structure, type of structure where it's located, that kind of thing. All right, let's move on to the next one. Type of home number 4, farms. Typically, these type of high value men enjoy being close to nature. Farms provide an important refuge for wildlife to live on. They promote biodiversity. They help retain soil fertility, and they provide clean air and water resources. Again, a guy who is very much into the land and about the environment. You see some of how these places are built. They can be a magnificent. They can be traditional, like what some people traditionally think of a farm home, or they can be even more elaborate. Now, what this means is that you and your children are going to grow up with a bunch of animals around you, usually variety, from horses to dogs and other things. Some farms even have their own private zoos. This is the kind of stuff that, again, happens when you have a high value rich man. You have your own zoo. Plus, you have plenty of fresh, healthy food of your own. Now, high value men's reasons for getting this type of home is very similar to the previous 3, yet also the world's wealthiest are acquiring agricultural land for stable returns and security, meaning it's an excellent financial investment. So again, this is part of it. You notice once again, the home is viewed as an investment vehicle more so than with other types of homes. The way that's going to make money, especially if they keep it in the family. This is how you generate wealth, financial wealth in the family. Actually, it's farms, right? Also, there's an ever-growing global demand for food. And so having farmland to be able to produce food is a great investment. Once again, typically they'll just hire people to work the farm, growing crops. And then it's always some local people around, local farmers, especially if there's immigrants around. They usually hire people like that, and they'll come in and work the fields, and then they just split the profits with them. So you and your family don't even do any of the work on the farm. You just buy the land. And another usually family or company will come in and do all the work. They just use your land, grow the crops and everything, and then they just split the profits with you at the end. Type of home number 5, shipping container homes. You probably have heard of these before. Yet high value men and high value rich men who get these types of homes typically are ones who like to do things off the beaten path. Shipping container homes present unique architecture and design. So you'll literally be living inside of a work of art, right? This is what attracts some people. It's just like it's such a unique look to them, so very distinctive that once people see it, they will never forget it, and they'll be talking about it. This is how you get buzz going in social groups doing stuff like this. And especially if you're doing social climbing, the moment you tell people at a party or gathering that you live in a shipping container home, they're going to be very curious, want to see pictures and video, and if you produce this on your phone, they're going to be hanging on to every word, looking at these videos and other things and pictures. Shipping containers are also good for the planet, as they use shipping containers that oftentimes may be discarded, rusting and even breaking down somewhere, hurting the environment. So again, you understand the motivations. Oftentimes, not only, once again, freedom, self-expression, also caring about the environment, right? And Again, these are his motivations. This is why you don't want to be arguing with him if he's talking about these kind of things. You just want to kind of come together and take the things that are important to him and the ideas that are important to you, and you come together and choose the type of home that you want. With this one, everyone that gets one of these homes is always ecstatic with it. Right. The sixth type of home are exclusive communities. Now, that's technically not a type of home, yet it really is, because that's where you're living. The type of house design can vary immensely, yet this is really what it is at the heart of it, an exclusive community. And I say this one for last because this is the type of place where most people's minds default to when thinking of where high value men and high value rich men decide to live. And sure enough, they are a very common staple with these type of men across the country. These communities tend to be gated. So these are houses within these communities. Some of the benefits with these places are primarily luxurious living. And they typically offer a range of benefits, including number one is safety. These communities are typically gated and have private security. So you feel safer at night when you're at home and even when you're away on vacation. There's also a strong sense of community, and especially in certain states, there's more of a concern. Like if you remember, there was a CEO of a healthcare company who was gunned down by a guy. He lived in an exclusive community. And so part of with these kind of people, they make this type of money and they may have jobs where they know people will try to kill them or hurt them if they find out what they do. And sometimes people find out where these people live at and then they want to protest in front of their house. So that safety and the privacy can be a concern based on what his job is. Think about that CEO's widow and her family, right? That's one of the reasons they lived in a type of exclusive community, because he had a horrible job doing horrible things to people, and he knew it. And he knew that a lot of people were hurt and died because of his decisions, directly or indirectly. This is the reality of it. And it would be a security concern. So again, depending on how he makes his money, this security and safety may be a very strong motivating factor in living in an exclusive community. Now, moving on, is also a strong sense of community than just a typical neighborhood, because you're using the same amenities along with the other residents of the community. So you're going to meet everyone. You're going to know your neighbors, unlike a lot of other neighborhoods. Also, again, they usually have a lot of amenities ranging from golf courses to tennis courts, dog parks to swimming pools, clubhouses, even fitness centers, plus a lot more. There's a lot of benefits. It typically is safer for families because you don't have strangers who are complete unknowns wandering through and driving through your neighborhoods. Plus, as you can see, there's a lot of attractive landscaping and typically cleaner air because you don't have the traffic. You're not next to a highway or major roadways and stuff. They're usually away from that. And there's not as much traffic driving through them. So the air is actually cleaner. Now, you can see how some of these places look. High value men, their reason for getting these type of places, in addition to everything that I just mentioned, definitely is social status, as the people who live in these communities are all usually also financially affluent or wealthy as well. So networking in these communities is a big benefit. It may be part of his wealth building formula. Again, this is why I emphasize so much to you to understand his motivations. So again, when it comes time to deciding a home, you're not butting heads, you're actually coming together and you include what's important to him and important to yourself. Other benefits of these areas include that your children will be going to school with other children who are from financially wealthy or affluent families. Many of these children may grow up to become prominent politicians or government officials. So there's a lot of benefit. And you notice with exclusive communities in particular, they're different because, and this is why I mentioned they're communities, not just a house. Even though realistically, some of the other house types that we covered before could be in part of a community, and typically usually are. In exclusive communities, no, because you usually don't have the freedom to build anything you want. You usually don't have the freedom to build a monolithic dome. You may, it can vary. Yet typically there's some type of board or the equivalent of an HOA or something that you answer to, and the houses look a certain way. It's like some of the pictures that you've seen. You don't just see mansion, 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 shipping container home, mansion, 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 farmhouse, right? Some places it may be. Yeah, typically that's not the case. So the key difference with this one is not only just luxury, yet also that he wants to feel like he's made it, and he wants to be around other financially rich people, financially affluent people. So a very good option, and one that obviously is very popular with a lot of high value rich men. Now, this next one is not a home that typically high value men or high value rich men get. This was one for me. So even for myself, at one time I planned to live in essentially a castle called a Vauban Star, which you can see in the pictures here. And it's more of a design, where it has a certain star-like design. And it's a design used in typically castles and forts around the world. My plan was to get like 100 acres, have this home built, and it wouldn't be as massive as these things. It would follow this design and have a compound in the middle where the family can, kind of like what you see in the middle of this castle here, where that'd be our area. We go outside and play and hang out and stuff. We'd have a hangar with a variety of small aircraft, not just planes, like electric cars that could fly, as well as dune buggies. And we'd have a boat on our lake. There'd be a guest house in the back. And that way we could invite relatives and friends over where they could have a place to stay and so on. And that's a very specific plan, right? I even had printouts of everything on my wealth wall. So this is something that motivated me every day as I would go to work, come home from work, go to the office, come home from the office. And the thing was, my girlfriend at the time had embraced that. She was comfortable with that. I could tell she kind of had become comfortable with the idea that it wasn't going to be the kind of house that her parents lived in. Right. That she knew, she said this. I remember that when she was with me, she knew she wasn't going to live a normal life or an average life. It wasn't going to be a traditional average life. These were her words. So she was already ready for that. And so when I showed her what I was planning, she was like, okay, because she already understood the type of man that I was and what I was thinking of, right? And this is exactly why we're going through this now. So these are things that you want to know and the conversations you want to have with your high value man, high value rich man. And you have to be open to these things. You might want a lavish condo in the city. Yeah, he may want to live on a ranch an hour outside of the city. Like to get more rich guy dating tips in your inbox? Sign up at richguydatingtips.com. And make sure you watch my next video, how to dress to attract high value men. See you next video.